that the person that I'm introducing them to today is not just a trainer of OET, but she is the trainer of trainers. Do you have a group kind of a training? What kind of training do you offer?
As the student progresses towards exam, we do a lot of one-on-one. We are the only OET premium preparation providers. So people from all over Gujarat come to us.
So what a role reversal from a critical care nurse specialist to a OET trainer. How did that happen?
First attempt with us in OET and he cracked it across, like he had A's in speaking.
Do you also, or do you have any counselors or a unit which connects him to that university which will give him the training or to that hospital which will give him the job? So you can get the license sitting here and any country in the world? Are you in the medical profession? Are you a nurse? Or are you in the health industry? And do you want to work abroad? Or do you want to go for further studies abroad? And you do not want to answer the IELTS exam because it seems to be a little tough. No worries. There is another exam specially for your field, which is known as the OET, that not many people know about and not many trainers exist. But we are lucky today to have with us not just a trainer of OET, but the trainer of trainers of OET. So please welcome Priya Shah of Acumen. Hi Priya, please welcome to MLS Podcasts.
Hi Shachi, thank you for inviting me on this podcast, and it's a privilege to be able to guide students, particularly those who are in dire need of getting the right advice. So my pleasure to have you.
So, like I was telling my subscribers, that there is a basic difference between the IELTS exam and the OET exam. And the OET exam is also an English language testing exam, but it is more directed toward the health industry. So, for those students who are wanting to go abroad and are considering answering the OET exams, how can you tell them the advantages over, the other ELTs which are there in the market, and specifically from their industry point of view?
Sure. So when most of the candidates are looking for the available exams, they only look at it as an exam that they need to crack. I'd like to advise them to think about the value of the exam. So when you talk about OET, it gives value to what you do. For example, if a nurse, passes the exam and goes abroad and starts working with the patients, she will be doing most of the interactions with the patients and the kind of language that patients understand. Whereas if you are preparing for exams like IELTS, you will be learning language which is related to history. You'll be learning language which is related to environment. And I tell my students that when you talk to your patients, you are not going to talk about environment, you're not going to talk about history. So OET prepares you for your workplace. It's not just an exam that you crack and get the license.
I understood that. And I think that is what most of the students who are actually going abroad, maybe physiotherapy, maybe a dentist, they are not even aware that this kind of an exam exists. So that is one of the main reasons for having you here. Now, I believe that OET also has several modules. Just like any other ELT, it has a listening module, a reading module, but they are more integrated. So, is that an advantage when you're answering the exam? Is it easier to attempt that kind of an answer? I'm sure most of the students are looking for that kind of answers. That is it easier than the IELTS exam? Is it easier than the PTE? Is it easier than the TOEFL? So now knowing that she is a nurse and she is going to be interacting with her patient and she's got to prepare a report for the doctor. Now, are the OET questions also set in that manner?
Absolutely. Yeah. So see, it is definitely easier than the other English exams. Why? Because the context is always medical. So I tell my students that you already know 50% of the vocabulary that you get in the exam. You don't have to start from scratch. So 50% you already know and 50% right trainer if you get. OET definitely is much easier.
So she can score the minimal exam marks that are required in order to get into the workplace the hospital, or even getting into a college, which is giving a more specific training to the nurse or the physiotherapist. So that makes it very easier for most of the people wanting to go abroad. Correct? All right. Now, when you are training, do you have a group kind of a training? Do you do online or do you do a one-on-one? What kind of training do you offer?
So our training is divided into 3 different stages. Stage 1 is an induction where we have a lot of group classes because students need that motivation from other students. So initial training is definitely a group class, but as the student progresses towards exam, we do a lot of one-on-one, especially for writing and speaking, where every student has a different they have different strengths and different weaknesses. So that is something we address during the one-on-one sessions. For example, we have students who are fabulous at speaking, but they struggle with writing mainly because they don't know the formal language. So that is where we can't put all of them in a group and teach the same strategies. We have to individualize their learning patterns. We have to individualize their learning pathways as well.
And online sessions, do you conduct for those people who are staying too far? I believe your institute is based in Paldi on CG Road, I think, right? So for those students who are staying too far, it takes almost 2 hours to commute to your place. Do you offer an online alternative?
Yes, we do. Particularly because in Gujarat, we are the only OET premium preparation providers. So people from all over Gujarat come to us. Now, there are some who come to Ahmedabad, stay in PGs and prepare, but then there are those who can't. So we do offer online training, and in online also we offer one-on-one options for them.
Okay, and it is all personally done by you, or do you have a group of trainers?
So we have 2 kinds of trainings again here. Like initial strategies are taught by me, but when it comes to one-on-one, we have expert trainers who are trained by OET. They are also certified.
Do you also help the students by booking the exam and actually going to the centers? There must be centers for it. Do we have a center in Ahmedabad?
Yes, we do have OET center in Ahmedabad.
So an answering centers, just like IELTS. And how much is the frequency of this exam being taken?
So monthly, there are 2 slots available for paper-based exam. Computer-based exam is available throughout the week. So students can choose whenever, like if they are not working on Saturday and want to take an exam, they can.
So you train students for both types, the computer-based as well as paper-based. And you also book the exams for them?
We are in fact an exclusive portal. In all over Gujarat, we are the only agents who can directly book students' OET.
Okay.
To our website. So we have an exclusive portal on our website through which we help our students book the exam.
That is what I was telling my subscribers, that the person that I'm introducing them to today is not just a trainer of OET, but she is the trainer of trainers. So how did you start your journey on this OET training? I mean, how long is long ago did your institute open up?
Yeah. So I have been an English teacher for more than 12 years, but it was in 2016 when students started approaching me for teaching OET. Now, because I'm from medical background, it was something I can do very easily. So in 2017, we established Acumen. And in 2020, we became the OET premium providers. We are just one of 8 providers that we have across India and just 37 across the world. So you can imagine the kind of training that we went through.
I have been a part of your journey and I am very much aware of the kind of rigorous training that you were undergoing. I think I offered to do some bit of, content writing for you. That's how I was hired with you. So I do remember that portion where you were doing really rigorous training and still you used to make time for your classes. I was aware of that. And you said medical background. So what kind of a medical background do you have?
So basically, I'm a critical care nurse specialist.
Oh my God. Wow. So what a role reversal from a critical care nurse specialist to a OET trainer. How did that happen?
So right from the beginning, like even when I was in the first year of my nursing course, our teachers used to give some assignments for translation. And I was very good at English. So the entire class would come to me for translation. So right from the beginning, that love for language
was already there. So pre-existing passion was converted into a profession. I think very similar to what I'm also going through. As you know, I'm a dentist and I'm now doing content writing and podcasting. Yes, so I believe passions make you a better professional. Do you agree with me? Okay, so okay, now this is your passion that you want to teach. Now, the kind of success rates that you come up with. That is what I mean. You are passionate about something, you're doing your best, you're delivering the best, you are the best. Okay, we have understood that. But then the other spectrum of it is that the students, when they are passing out, what kind of results can they expect? Average student, a super cool student is always going to get good marks. But when there is an average student, is he able to gain the kind of scores, that he needs in order to join a university or a workplace?
I would give you some examples here. Like, I had a doctor who had been preparing for IELTS for almost 1.5 years and had 7 attempts, and every time he failed in writing module. The first attempt with us in OET, and he cracked it across. Like, he had A's in speaking. So I would give you an example of a doctor who had 7 attempts in IELTS, and then he wasn't able to somehow pass in the writing exam. So he started preparing for OET with us, and just within 2.5 months, he was able to get B in writing and A in listening and the reading module.
So he was not exactly a failure in IELTS. It was what he was preparing for was not what he was answering or what he needed to answer. So basically what we can tell our subscribers is that if you are from the health industry, then you are already, like you said, having the vocabulary for it. All you need to do is understand the nitty-gritties of a little bit of grammar and maybe the diction. So that will get them to the level that they are expecting to go. Have you had any success stories? Very, very good success stories with any of your students?
Yeah, with quite a few of them, actually. Like, we had students who were at IELTS 5.5 or 6 bench level, and we were able to get them to OET level within just 3 to 4 months time period. And that happened mainly because of the intensive training we provide. So generally, if you look at any IELTS coaching, it would be mostly about doing the practice test. Where our approach is different is that we first teach them the basics.
Okay.
Like, so what is the difference in our methodology is that when they enter into the coaching, we first teach them the basic techniques. That is, what is skimming, what is scanning, how do they listen for gist, what are the fundamentals that they need to keep in mind when they are writing a formal letter. So with these basic techniques, even if someone whose English is not very good is able to adapt and learn very quickly. And this is how, these nurses who are really from Gujarati language, yeah, they have their entire studies in Gujarati medium, they have their entire studies in Hindi medium. They were also able to get through the exam with these strategies.
Okay.
So it is not that the exam is tough, it is just that the approach with which the trainers teach is somewhere not right. Like, doing multiple practice tests doesn't actually help. They keep on making the same mistakes.
These success stories, have you had cases where they refer other students to you? So you get by word of mouth, you get students, or do you get students only from a portal?
I'll tell you one thing. My marketing budget every year is less than 50,000. I don't do marketing.
So your word of mouth is what is spreading the word around. Okay. So I think that speaks volumes for the kind of quality of training that you give. Now, while you were talking to me just now, you said B, level B. I know that in IELTS, we have a score from 1 to 10. And if you get 9 bands, it's considered to be almost a full score. But what is this B level that is different in OET from IELTS?
So OET basically has 4 grades, A, B, C, and D. D being the lowest.
Okay. So
and B in OET is equivalent to 7.5 in IELTS.
Wonderful. So that is really, really good. And getting that in just 2 to 2.5 months, that means basically you have clarified the concepts of basic English grammar and diction. And that is what you're doing when you're answering an exam. All right. One of the other questions that has really been, piquing my, what you can say, curiosity as such, is all these kind of exams, you need even a platform on the other side. right? That the person is a physiotherapist. He is answering the OET so that he can get a job in the UK as a physiotherapist. Or maybe he wants to study a little further on a particular field in physiotherapy in UK. Now, do you also, or do you have any counselors or a unit which connects him to that university which will give him the training, or to that hospital which will give him the job?
Yes. And again, we are one of the first in all over Gujarat.
Okay.
There are lots of visa agents in Gujarat who deal with the studies and with work abroad. But we are the only one which helps candidates get their license first.
Yes. I think in medical profession, the licenses are more important.
So most of the agents here in Gujarat do not understand this licensing process. And therefore, they mostly guide students to go on a student visa and then somehow find a job there. But the problem here is that even after students go there on a student visa, they still have to go through the same pathway, because until and unless they have their license, they can't work there.
So you can get the license sitting here? Oh, that's really wonderful. And you help them with that process?
We help them with the exam preparation, we help them with the registration, and we also help them with
any country in the world?
Mainly 5 countries that we deal in. The highest jobs that we have right now is in the UK.
Okay.
After that, we have Australia and New Zealand. And then we also do a little bit of it in Canada and US as well.
I was basically, my son studies in Germany, but I was basically writing the websites. I normally write content. So I was writing the websites and blogs for a company which was in Germany. They only had one condition, that the nurse had to have a little bit of knowledge of German language as well. So the next question that I was coming to was, OET is basically an English exam.
Yeah.
But do you also offer other languages? Like if the person is being placed in Germany, would you be giving them the basic German knowledge or basic French knowledge, depending on the country? Is that offering also there in your institute?
So basically, there are 2 ways of looking at it. We are not just a language school. So OET is one of our offerings, but we help with other licensure exams. Now, when it comes to German, it's very specific to just one country. So as of now, we don't offer that. But for the remaining 5 countries, as I said, there are 3 different exams that candidates need to give. So we specialize in training them for these licensure exams along with OET.
Okay, the licensure is not always the local exam, local language.
It's an end-to-end solution. So you in our institute with just the license of a local organization, maybe a Gujarat Nursing Council or Gujarat Medical Council. But when you get out of Acumen, you have your foreign
everything.
You have your visa with you, you have your family with you.
Okay, even the family. So you're even doing the extended visas. One more very last question that I wanted to ask you was that there are different cities in Gujarat. So are you catering only to Gujarati students, or if somebody from maybe say Maharashtra or somebody from Orissa or somebody from, any of the other states, if they happen to be living here and their medium of instruction is not even Gujarati or English, but it's Hindi or it's maybe Oriya, are you able to cater to that crowd as well?
Yes, again, because even if you look at Maharashtra, Rajasthan, MP, UP, there are no OET premium preparation providers.
Okay.
So we have quite a lot of online students studying from there. Not just that, those of my students who have, like from here, they have gone to Australia, New Zealand, UK. We have some international students studying with us as well. Some Filipino nurses, some African nurses studying from.
So how do you bridge that language gap? Because obviously they are not English originally, or they are not, you're teaching them English, but you're teaching them with a different language involved. So how do you bridge that gap?
So we use a lot of visualization in the classroom.
Okay.
And we follow language grading. So we simplify, we use simple English, which everyone else is able to understand. Even Gujarati students are there in our class, but we don't stoop to using Gujarati Hindi language.
Okay.
Instead, we simplify English so that everyone in the class understands. Sure. So one thing I would tell them is that student visa is not the right option if you are a nurse or a doctor, because you already have a basic qualification. So what you should go for is work visa. And second most important thing is, don't go without you have your license Okay, because if you are going without license, you will be working at par low level than what your qualifications are. So don't settle for low. Your degree in India is good enough. You just need to pass a couple of more exams to prove that you have the knowledge and the skills required. So contact me. I'll help you with preparing of all these licensure exams, whether you are a nurse or a doctor. And you can get your license in the UK, in Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and US with all the exams that that we help you prepare for. So don't settle down for low. You have already done enough of studies. Now is the time for you to start earning.
Thank you very much for that valuable piece of advice. And thank you for being with us today. I think this was a really wonderful and informative kind of a podcast that I think many people must have been looking for. So I'm so happy that you were able to tell us so much more. Looking forward to interacting with you again with maybe some more advancements that you come up with in the next few
Sure.
years. So thank you very much, Priya.
Thank you, Sachi, for inviting me and giving me the platform to share my knowledge with your subscribers and with your known ones.
No, thank you very much, Acumen.